I've talked about it a couple times already, but Supernova implemented a rule where Steve mains could not pick stages and they could not ban stages in tournament sets, and this became very apparent in one particular set, Peabnut versus Fhantum. And this, I think, was the most controversial set in the entire bracket. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily the most important with, like, the top 8 and who won and all of that, and I'm not spoiling that in case you don't know, but this set got a lot of people upset, so I wanted to watch it and kind of make my commentary about how this rule has affected this set. So, let's go. So immediately in Game 1 you can see it is a bit strange because Game 1 we go to Kalos, which is not a starter stage because, again, if you know, you cannot pick or, like, you basically get rid of all of the previous stage information of how to strike stages, and the person who is not the Steve immediately gets to pick. First off, shoutouts Fhantum for the run. 17th place is pretty good, especially considering how stacked this tournament was. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a lot of nothing. So I'm going to be talking quite a bit and not super focusing on the actual gameplay because, to be honest, this is how Peabnut just plays every against Steve set. If you've watched Peabnut versus literally any top Steve, this is just what happens where basically nothing happens. And on Kalos, you're going to get a lot of stone and a lot of iron, so Mega Man's not really going to be able to break through the walls very easily. And so it ends up being a lot of nothing. And this is literally just what Peabnut does all the time, forever. I mean, Peabnut is definitely a type of player that is very studied in terms of, I'm going to make the best possible decisions over and over again for the least amount of risk possible. And as you can see, he's kind of doing that. He's only taken 0%, and Fhantum has taken 3.6, and it's been a minute. But again, I do think that this was important. I've seen, obviously, a lot of people complain about this. You see Fhantum kind of laughing in the player cam. Because she's just like, well, this is ridiculous. But it's just like, it's one of those things where this is obviously going to be an exaggerated example, right? I'm sure there are a lot of Steve sets where this didn't happen. Oh, whoops, this is extra zoomed in. And honestly, it being zoomed in didn't really affect anything, so don't worry about it. Because basically nothing's happened, because this is just kind of how Mega Man versus Steve goes. Again, it's not, like, there have been plenty of timeouts or near timeouts with Peabnut versus all the other top Steve players, the banned ones or not. This is just kind of what happens. Phantom is trying to do a good job of kind of making it difficult for Peab to get around, or, like, you know, limit the options that he has for movement. And now we're going to get a shield poke. Maybe that's going to be a shield poke. No, it's not. Phantom has the small, never mind, lost the lead. But this is just going to be a game of cat and mouse, right? This is literally just like Meta Knight versus Ice Climbers and Brawl is a very analogous matchup, except, you know, Mega Man can't zero to death you. Well, I guess I don't know who's running necessarily, so I guess Peabnut would be the Meta Knight in this example, because he's the one not interacting. And then Phantom is the one that can do a lot of damage. Oh, could have been a punish, actually. But yeah, this is going to be just like a ridiculously extreme example of this, right? There are a couple of characters that could time out Steve in theory, especially on Kalos. Like Game & Watch on Kalos would be really good in this matchup. So would Zero Suit, because you just kind of flip jump over and over. And we see this a little bit with Peabnut just going for rushes over and over again. But I mean, I respect it, right? As a Brawl player. Like, again, I hate camping like this personally, but I think it's kind of hype when you can kind of entirely make your game plan just, hey, this is going to be not fun for both of us, unless your name is Sonic, because Sonic also does 1 billion damage all the time, and Mega Man doesn't do 1 billion damage, so he's allowed. You see Phantom trying to create a ceiling there, very, very funny. And yeah, this is a rough set for like everything, right? Because I feel like it kind of proves the point. Like, I've seen a lot of Steve players be like, oh, this is so stupid, what can we even do? Which is literally the point, because there are so many characters that in this exact position, right, can't do anything if Steve is winning. And the only reason this matters is because Peabnut is currently winning, and it's, you know, been 3 minutes off the clock already. But at the same time, again, a lot of characters have Steve with wall, and then you can't do anything about it. That's literally the entire point of the rule set is, hey, maybe we can flip this dynamic on its head, because Steve is still broken and is still one of the best characters in the game, if not the best character in the game, even with this rule set. No, didn't commit, could have got the fair, maybe. Probably would have been SD had it not been more of a combo, but it would have been like 18% more or something. Because all diamond tools, of course, right now. But again, Phantom does have to remember, like, hey, I still got a mine, I still got to get a diamond for next stock, or to even to just, like, refresh everything this current stock. We are about halfway through the game, and this is just very funny to me, because I didn't watch the set. I watched like parts of top 8 and maybe slightly before that. I didn't really watch any of the bracket before this, so I don't really exactly know how this happened in the match. Wow, why does fair do nothing in terms of damage to the crafting table? That's so weird. And yeah, Phantom just mining. This is, again, classic. As a Brawl player, again, I've seen plenty of sets like this. I literally had a set like this versus Anti at Skatar 1, where I think the final game of the set, Ice Climbers Meta Knight on Lilat, we literally don't interact for an entire minute. I think Nana took like 5% in the first minute, and that was literally the entire interaction for the first minute, and then I think I end up getting like a couple chain grabs, so I win. But it was very much like, hey, we're just not interacting here, and you know, sometimes the option, like this makes sense, right? Because again, the options against Steve is, hey, Steve has low mobility, you should run away from him. But this is very silly, obviously, in terms of exaggerated, you know, aspects about this. And again, Peabnut has a 20% lead, so Phantom's the one that has to approach. Early minecart gets air dodged through, very smart by Peabnut. And again, he's just very risk averse, and he's always played like, well, not always, but you know, since he got good, he's been playing like this. Again, if you watch him versus Shiny Mark, we had a bunch of timeouts, and those are on normal stages with a character that's faster, like Pika's fast, right? So it makes sense if you're fighting a low mobility character to just abuse the fact that this character has low mobility and slowly get damage over time. And we have a minute and 50 left. Phantom's like, okay, this game is obviously going to time. I just need to get like one. If they got like an up air, back air or something, that would be huge. But it's hard. Ooh, the nil 2 to try to track. Yeah, Rush is so good. And again, Mega Man can kind of just play like this all the time. And Peabnut, again, does, often. So I don't think, like, this is obviously an exaggerated thing because Steve couldn't, like, you obviously banned Kalos in this matchup. It's a big stage. You do have the side platforms, which kind of make this a lot easier for lack of interaction. Whoa! Imagine getting up aired and dying there. So, like, it's worse. But this is, like, a very normal Mega Man versus Steve stuff, and Phantom having to retreat, get some more iron, refresh the tools, because, again, you are going to have to get 50% on this Mega Man, or get a kill, but I don't know in this instance how you get a kill. And even though I dislike playing against it, I do definitely respect the, you know, the campers, because, God, is this so annoying to do. If I was able to do this basically ever, I would have been ranked so much higher all the time, and I would still be having fun playing Pikachu, because I'm currently not, because this is the way to play Pika, is the way Peabnut is playing currently. A lot of rush cancels here. We have another rush. He is taking some bubble percent, which might matter, honestly, if Phantom gets a couple hits. Yeah, just kind of trying to use the rush, get higher. Yeah, but that rush into being able to up B again is so rough for Steve to do anything for, because your jumps are really bad. Again, your full hop is like the worst or one of the worst in the game. Your double jump is also very bad. And again, most of the time it doesn't matter, because most of the time people aren't just playing like this. Oh, got a hit. Still has rush, though. And yeah, the downer's just going to cover the landing. Okay, so I don't think... Oh my god, 104! No, it's not enough! It's not enough! That was almost insane. That would have been so clutch at the end there. But again, Phantom, after losing game 1, does not have access to any stage counter picks, so Peabnut just gets to go back to Kalos, even though he won, right? Peabnut won that game, and, you know, is still able to pick the stages. This is how the rule set works. Again, I think this is a bit of an exaggerated example of what could happen, but this is, again, part of why the rule set is a thing. And is this fun to watch, necessarily? No. If you're still stuck around here, honestly, I respect it. And you're just hearing me yap and stuff, but yeah, I mean, this is extreme, right? But at the same time, hey, we're in a meta where Sonics times people out, and you know, people get 0 to death, so they have to play passive. We're in a meta where Kazuya exists, so a lot of people are playing more passive, a lot more people are playing pokey and trying to not get hit, and that's exactly what Peabnut is doing, and by extension, Phantom has to do if she has the lead. She doesn't currently, she's down 2%. But it's this is a meta for sure. This is meta, and again, I do think the Steve rule is good. I think this was good. I think that a lot of people, you know, had maybe a big overreaction to it overall, but I think, like, obviously there are only a couple of players that are going to do this, right? You can imagine Peabnut, you can imagine Shiny Mark, you can imagine Sonics, but all those players are really good versus Steve anyway. Like, Steves have lost to those players all the time regardless. So this is just like a, hey, this is going to be even harder for you to win. But again, that's kind of the point, right? Because Steve is broken and everyone dislikes fighting this character. And again, especially, a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to make the top matches so much worse, or the top players can beat the Steves. But that's not even the point, right? It's not for Sonics and Shiny Mark and Zomba. It's for the people who are like, hey, I quit because Steve is fucking lame and I don't like fighting against that character, so you have a little bit more control. That's what it's for. It's not for this matchup. It's not for Peabnut the player. It's for people that are like, hey, I don't like having to ban stages versus Steve because it feels like there's never a right answer and they just get to ban all of my good stages and then I'm stuck. And I hate fighting Steve and I also feel stuck. So then you go, hey, here's a little bit easier. If you're bad versus Steve, you're still going to lose to the Steves regardless of what stages you are on, right? Because they're just you're gonna not know how to deal with up tilt. You're not gonna know how to deal with minecart. You're not gonna know how to deal with anvil. You're gonna attack on shield, get footstool down or out of shield. Like there's plenty of stuff that can happen to make you lose a Steve set, independent of stages, right? So that's a big deal, right? It's really, really important to remember. Also, why is Crash? I guess Crash Bomb has to hit the very circle of the hurt box of the blocks, which is interesting, in order to explode. That's a lot of iron on deck. Oh, barely missed. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I know how that feels. Meta Knight camping you in Brawl, and then you're like, I finally got the hit, or I have an opportunity to get the hit, and then you just strictly miss, and you're just like, damn it, that was my one opportunity for the next 40 seconds. I love fighting Mewtwo King. Fighting Mewtwo King, very fun and cool. I say that very sarcastically. Mewtwo King was very lame in Brawl. But, yeah, I mean, this is just, it's just funny. I'm a fan of this. Just because it's so silly, right? Peabnut, of course, up 80% here, so Peabnut not going to be the one to approach, and it's looking just silly. I checked my texts for like 45 seconds and nothing has happened, so that's emblematic of this game. I don't actually think I'm going to watch this full set for clarity because we're about halfway through, because I think it ends up going 3-1 spoilers, as if people care. But, I just want to do this to kind of make the point of just like, yeah, this is a lot, and Kalos is crazy, and honestly, this is maybe more of a scathing indictment of Kalos than it is the rule set, because Kalos is, if you've seen Fire the Pyro's video on it, like, Kalos is a crazy stage, although I disagree with the premise of the video. I think Kalos is fine, but in certain matchups, and the meta of 2026, it can be like this. This is sometimes what Kalos does, right? If Game & Watch players wanted to be really, really lame, they would just up B from side to side. If Mii Brawlers wanted to be lame, they could just down B, zero suit, same from side to side, and just literally never interact. Get a couple Zairs, a couple hits, and then run the rest of the game. And Peabnut is just one of the, again, there's maybe 10 players in the entire world that are completely willing to just be like, hey, I'm running from go. There's nothing else happening. I'm just not going to interact. Peabnut's one of them. A couple Sonic players, Shiny Mark. I don't really know too many more hurt, like the Snake players, but also they're slowly getting damage and stuff, so it's not really quite the same thing as just I'm blatantly running. So yeah, this is just ridiculous. Obviously, no stocks have been taken in this set yet, and it is game 2 and 5 minutes into game 2. So this is a classic. This is honestly going to maybe go down in Smash Ultimate infamy. And again, I don't think the rule set is bad. I don't think that the concept of the Siege clause is bad. Phantom popping off for getting a forward air is so funny. She's having a good, she's not having a good time, but she's making the best of a good situation, which I agree with. Sometimes you just gotta do that. You gotta be silly. Peabnut, slowly racking up percent with Crash Bombs. Crash Bombs basically are guaranteed shield poke with either Pellet or Leaf Shield, depending on how close you are. And yeah, Phantom's just struggling to get a hit. Uh-oh, that's gonna be a hit. Big damage. Oh, no, not enough to take the lead. That is 103, and Phantom has the lead 6%. Now, Peabnut's the one that has to approach. Is Phantom going to actually force interactions? It seems like she is, but it ended up costing the lead. Unfortunate there, but we have a minute and only 5%. It was like a 90% lead, so this is definitely better. No, getting hit by the down air. Kind of getting the walls up in between. This is definitely a doable lead, right? This is like one hit, especially with with diamond tools and minecarts. This is Tilt hit the third block. What? That's crazy. This is like a minecart hitting. This is a down air hitting. Yeah, there's plenty of moves here that will straight up either kill Peabnut or give Phantom the lead here, 30 seconds. And also, this part of the game is hype, right? I love the last 30 seconds of a timeout game because there is potential just if it's anywhere close, if it's obviously if you're down a stock, it's rough, but in these positions where technically it is doable, down smash, is that going to be the kill? Oh my god, is it going to be the kill? I think it is. Yes, it is! Phantom gets the first kill of the set, 6 minutes and 40 seconds into this final game, and if she gets one hit, yeah, that's game. You can just kind of SD here and use the Angel platform. You see, just going to not take the stock in general, because again, I think Phantom overall is playing this set really, really well. You can see she's kind of in disbelief, just being like, oh my fucking god, this is crazy. And I just want to basically see how close the 2 games end up being at the end, because I'm pretty sure it's just straight up 4 timeouts, right? Okay, so this one we see Peabnut have the stock lead. Oh, he was down in percent, but Peabnut got a kill here. Oh my god, that literally could have flopped or flipped on its head so easily because Fhantum has the lead here. So if Fhantum was just able to kind of get out of this position, that would have been huge. That's got to mean up smash, oh, wait, almost up throw into that. The minecart was so smart. That's going to be the back air. Oh no, if Fhantum maybe directional air dodged off stage, that actually would have led to less of a bad position, and that is going to be, I mean, Fhantum, obviously, if she gets a hit here, can be a lot, but that's going to, nope, that percent, that's literally the game, and Fhantum does barely lose this game. 2 stocks taken in 3 games, blows up with the TNT just for fun, and damn, that is rough. And then game 4, both players actually lose a stock, and we are down, or only about 6%. So again, even with all this talk and be like, oh, Mega Man is so broken and this character's crazy. No, it didn't hit Peabnut. She got out of the minecart. If she didn't get out of the minecart, this would have been like 25%. No, and you're not going to get the hit there because the down tilt is up 4%. Run, Phantom. But again, this is the type of stuff that I love, of just like so close timeouts, but obviously the first like 6 minutes of it are really, really lame, and Peabnut just trying to get some type of shield poke. Uh-oh, up 10%. Yeah, drifts back to the left, and that is probably, I mean, very oh, the back air was so close. I think the invincibility air rush maybe helped that. No, again, got out of the minecart. The same mistake a couple of times. Unfortunate. That would have been 20%. That would have been the game. All Phantom would have had to do is run to the left. Super ridiculously close set. Obviously, at this point, Phantom very frustrated. That was a half-hour set. I skipped through 2 timeout games. You can't be mad at Peabnut for doing... Well, you can't get mad at Peabnut for doing that. And I think objectively, a lot of people are mad at Peabnut for doing that. But both games... Or the first game wasn't super close. The first game was Peabnut was pretty dominant. The third and fourth games, Phantom had the ability to just get the minecart hit, and that would have entirely changed things. So then it would have been like, oh man, even with the rules about Steve is so broken. Or it would have been like, wow, Peabnut was not rewarded for playing this lame. But yeah, I mean, the set, in my opinion, is kind of emblematic of how lame Mega Man versus Steve specifically can be, especially when you are not able to counterpick stages, because there's no Smashville for small stages, there's no ability to just not be on Kalos, which is probably the most extreme version of this. So yeah, I mean, the rule set doing as intended, and Peabnut playing the way God wants him to. And yeah, that is going to be about it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, social media and partner stuff is down below. That's obviously not going to be the only thing from Supernova I cover. I will be tomorrow uploading a video about like the winner, because uploading a video on Wednesday when the major was over our Sunday, if you don't know who won, that's on you at this point. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.